as we all know, the Lightning season is over. They lost in the first round to the Toronto Maple Leafs in 6 games, and as a Lightning fan, it feels weird. They've played so much hockey, so much playoff hockey, and it almost feels like hockey season is now from October to June, not October to April. So the fact that the hockey season is over, it just feels like the season ended early to me. And while the loss obviously hurts, I know this team needs rest. They played so many playoff games over the last several years, and I have the numbers to show it. So we're gonna go all the way back to 2015 as a starting point, and then 2020 as a starting point, because that is when, COVID hit, and those years were kind of jumbled together in those extremely short off seasons. So we'll have those two starting points. We'll compare the Lightning's amount of games to, some of the top teams in the Eastern Conference over the years, such as the Penguins, the Capitals, the Bruins, and really see how many more games they played than everyone else. So first, let's look at really the group of guys we're talking about here, the core group of Lightning players that have been with this team and really are feeling the effects of all of these back-to-back playoff runs. Stamkos, obviously, 2008, Hedman, 2009, Killorn, who's actually been in the Lightning organization the longest, even longer than Stamkos, but really didn't start with the Lightning until 2012. Kucherov, 2013. Vasi, 2014. Didn't really start taking over that role from Ben Bishop until 2016. Anthony Cirelli, 2017. Braden Point, 2016. Sergachev, 2017. And we'll throw Eric Chernak in there. He's played a bunch of games, blocked a lot of shots, so I don't want to leave him out. 2018. That is who I would say is this core group of guys who are really feeling these playoff runs. And now let's go year by year. Starting from 2015, the Lightning beat Detroit in 7 games, beat Montreal in 6 games, beat the Rangers in 7 games, and then lose to Chicago in 6 in the Stanley Cup final. So that's 26 games for the 2015 season. Now into 2016, they beat Detroit again in the first round, 5 games. They beat the Islanders in 5 games, and they lose to Pittsburgh in the conference final in 7 games. So that's 17 games for the 2016 season. 2017, a huge injury year for the Lightning. That's 0 games. They did not make the playoffs. Going into 2018 now, they beat Jersey in 5, beat Boston in 5, and then lose to the Capitals in 7. That's 17 games, made it to the conference final. 2019, insert joke. Good, got it. Columbus in 4. 2020, this is when, the numbers really start to rack up in a short period of time. So let's just put a mark in that and then recap this real quick. So 2015, Stanley Cup final. 2016, conference final. 2017, missed the playoffs. 2018, conference final. 2019, joke. Now into 2020, this is, really weird year. They beat Columbus in 5, beat Boston in 5, beat the Islanders in 6, and then beat Dallas in 6 to win that Stanley Cup final. So that's 22 playoff games added to our stack that we're counting right now, and the Lightning now had to go into the shortest offseason in NHL history. Now enter the 2021 season. Off season, they beat Florida in 6, beat Carolina in 5, beat the Islanders in 7, and then beat Montreal in 5 to win that back-to-back Stanley Cup final. That is now 23 games added to our stack. Now going into the last year, we are checking 2022. They beat Toronto in 7, beat Florida in 4, beat the Rangers in 6, and lose to Colorado in 6. 23 more games added to our stack. They lose in the Stanley Cup final. So now looking at it as a whole, from 2015 to 2022, the Lightning made the conference final 6 out of those 8 years. Only twice since 2015 till 2022, we're not counting this year, did the Lightning not make the conference final. That is a crazy amount of hockey games. How much do you ask? Since 2015, they played 132 playoff games. Yeah, about a season and a half, even more than that. And now, since 2020, how much playoff hockey have they played? 68 playoff games. Yeah, 2020, 22 games. 2021, 23 games. 2022, 23 games. 68 playoff games is an insane number. That's 14 games away from being a whole added season. Kind of makes sense why they would be tired. So now that we have those numbers marked, 132 since 2015, 68 since 2020. Let's look at the competition and see, who I guess even comes close. So first, let's take a look at Pittsburgh, who is an obvious choice to look at. They won back-to-back cups. Since 2015, they have played 77 playoff games compared to the Lightning's 132. Since 2020, only 13 playoff games compared to the Lightning's 68. Next, the New York Rangers. Since 2015, 58 playoff games compared to the Lightning's 132. Since 2020, 20 playoff games compared to the Lightning's 68. I thought it would be Pittsburgh that would be the closest since 2015, but it's actually Washington. 86 playoff games since 2015 compared to the Lightning's 132, but only 16 since 2020. So compared to the Lightning's 68, that's really not even close. Now to the New York Islanders. Since 2015, 56 to 132, but since 2020, the Islanders are actually the closest out of any other Eastern Conference team to the Lightning, 37 compared to their 68. Next up is Boston, 70 games since 2015, 28 since 2020. Good numbers, but compared to 132 and 68, again, it's really not even close. Look at Carolina, 45 since 2015 compared to 28 since 2020. They're a lot better as of late. But yeah, those are really the top teams in the Eastern Conference since 2015 and now when we're looking at, amount of playoff games played. Again, 132 for the Lightning since 2015. This is ingrained in your head now, it has to be. Closest competition, Washington at 86 playoff games. 86 playoff games since 2015. That's a lot, but it's still 46 playoff games. A whole over half a season compared to Tampa. Closest team to Tampa since 2020, as I said, it's the Islanders with those 37 playoff games. Still 31 playoff games less than Tampa since 2020. And of course, I'm only comparing the Lightning's numbers to teams that are the best of the East. I'm not even looking at, teams that haven't made it far in the playoffs, or maybe they missed a few years here and there, or maybe they had a long playoff drought and they just started making the playoffs. So it really is an insane amount of games played. 132 since 2015 is crazy, but 68 since 2020 is even crazier to me. That's almost a full season of playoff hockey in a 3-season span, especially with one of those seasons being a super short off season. But yeah, just wanted to throw those numbers out there because I know it's something that has been on my mind, and looking at the comments in my videos, people, saying like Tampa needs rest, their time was coming. So I'm sure it's something a lot of people have thought about. You see this Lightning team in the playoffs all the time over the last several years, and there's the numbers to back it up. There's really not even a team that comes close to this Lightning team when it comes to playoff games played over these last several years. And I'm sure it's taken a toll on that core group of guys we talked about at the beginning of the video. But yeah, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please comment down below what you guys think of these numbers. Got them here. And even knowing and watching every single playoff game, didn't really realize how much it was and even how much more it was compared to everyone else. So please like, subscribe. Again, thank you guys for watching.